In my last video, a lot of you left comments saying the same thing. You didn't think VA benefits were for you because you figured they're only for guys who came home missing an arm or a leg. That's not true, and believing it has probably cost you money. Let me explain and then tell you what to do about it. I read every comment on that video. Guys who served in totally different decades, all saying a version of the same line. I didn't think it was for me. One veteran said his whole generation, the Vietnam generation, was never told to apply because everyone believed it was only for men who lost limbs. Another guy was a combat infantryman, 13 months in the field in Vietnam. He said he came home and figured the benefits were for the truly wounded, not him, because he still had both arms and both legs. It took him 32 years to find out he was wrong. Quick disclaimer before I go on. I'm not the VA and I'm not a lawyer. I read your stories and looked up how this works. Here's what I found. VA disability covers any health problem connected to your service, not just the severe stuff. The most claimed disability in the whole system is ringing in the ears, called tinnitus. Over 3 million veterans get a monthly check for it. Number 2 is hearing loss. After that, bad backs, bad knees, breathing problems, trouble sleeping, regular wear from hard service, and any of it can carry a rating and a monthly payment. That infantryman who thought it wasn't for him, the ringing in his ears from 13 months of gunfire counted. He qualified the whole time and didn't know it. A lot of you also figured too much time had passed. You're too old, you missed your window. Wrong. There's no deadline to file a disability claim after you get out. You can file the year you leave or 40 years later. One guy got out in 1991 and didn't know VA disability existed until 2017. Another left in 77 and filed in 2024. Both fine. Here's the catch, though, and most videos won't tell you this. Waiting costs you. When the VA approves a late claim, your back pay usually starts from the day you filed, not the day you got out. So if you waited 30 years, you don't get 30 years of back pay. You get your check going forward, plus back pay to your filing date. One veteran said he applied in 92, one in 2008, and had been fighting for back pay ever since. Cases where the money reaches way back are rare and usually have special circumstances. For most guys, it comes down to this. Start now, because every month you wait is money you don't get back. So do one thing today, even if you're not ready to file the whole claim. It's called an intent to file. It's short, and once it's on record, it locks in your start date. You then have a year to gather your paperwork and finish the claim, and your back pay counts from that earlier date. One guy said he'd known nothing about any of this since the 80s. He's now getting 10% for tinnitus and asked if he could still get back pay. The intent to file is how you answer that. It starts your clock today instead of losing another year. Another thing a lot of you said, if this were real, somebody would have told me. The VA would have reached out. They don't. One guy said that when he got out, an official told him not to get a rating at all if he wanted to be a police officer. So he stayed away for 33 years and watched co-workers with real ratings do the same job he did. The VA doesn't come find you. Nobody mails you a list of what you're owed. You have to go get it. And don't take one person's offhand advice for it. Talk to someone whose actual job is to know this stuff. And yeah, you can still file at any age. Here's roughly how you do it, because a few of you asked. It's not as complicated as it looks, and you don't have to be a paperwork guy to get through it. First, write down everything wrong with you, not just the big injuries. The ringing, the hearing, the back, the knees, the sleep, the breathing. The stuff you've lived with for years and figured doesn't count. Most of it does. And file for all of it at once, not one thing at a time. Second, lock your start date today with an intent to file. You can do it 3 ways. Online at va.gov, over the phone, or by mail. That one step freezes your date and gives you a year to get the rest together. Third, pull your paperwork. Your DD-214, which is your discharge record, plus any medical records showing the problem, military or civilian. What the VA really wants is 3 things. A current diagnosis, some sign your service could have caused it, and a link between the two. That link is where a nexus letter helps, which is just a doctor writing that, in their opinion, your condition is at least as likely as not connected to your service. That one sentence ties the whole claim together, so it's worth asking your doctor for. Fourth, expect a VA exam and take it seriously. After you file, they usually send you to what's called a C&P exam, so a doctor can check your condition. Here's the tip most guys need to hear. Don't tough it out in there. That's the one place acting tough works against you. Describe your worst days, not your best ones. If your knee gives out twice a week, tell them twice a week. They rate what you actually live with, not what you can push through. Fifth, don't do it alone, because it's free not to. Every state, plus the DAV, the VFW, and the American Legion, has service officers who will do all of this with you. The forms, the evidence, the exam prep at no cost. If I could get you to do one thing, it'd be that. Let a service officer drive. They know which conditions connect, what evidence wins, and how to dodge the mistakes that get guys denied. One more, for some of you specifically. A few of you were exposed to things the government took decades to admit were dangerous. One guy served on submarines in the early 70s around radiation and asbestos and bad air and got turned away every time. If that's you, this changed. A law called the PACT Act expanded what counts as toxic exposure, and it lets you refile claims that were denied years ago. Put that old no back on the table. Now, I'll be honest with you. Not every problem connects to your service, and not every claim gets approved. I can't promise you a check, and anybody who does is lying to you. Some things won't tie back, and some answers really are no. But those comments made one thing clear. Way more of you were owed something and never asked than ever asked and got denied. The real waste was all the guys who never even tried, over something that was never true. So if you've been telling yourself this was for someone more broken than you, stop. You didn't have to lose a limb. You served, and you came home carrying something you didn't leave with. That's the whole bar. The guys in those comments are no different from you. The ones who got their money just picked an afternoon and finally asked. Last thing, I'm not the VA, I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't a ruling on your case. Rules and dates change, and your situation is your own. Use this as your push to go ask the real questions from the people whose job is to answer them. Just remember the one thing we started with. It was always for you too, not only the guys who came home missing a limb,